Gon reveals that now he can charge rock while running, and in the anime, he dodges an attack while charging rock as well. Hey, what's up everybody? It's LeeLos, and today we're talking about why Gon versus the Owl and Bat is genius. Stay steady in pursuit of your dreams and goals. You're born to win, you're made for greatness, and I definitely believe in you guys. Keep up the great work each and every day. So Gon versus the Owl and Bat is a battle between one of the most genius characters in Hunter x Hunter versus a combo of officer ants with perfect teamwork. Today we're going to analyze every single power-up and ability these characters display to explain overall why Gon versus the Owl and Bat is genius. So these fights begin right after Killua goes off on his own to interrupt the selection process. Each Chimera Ant that Gon fights in these few chapters, he's battling them while at a disadvantage in their perfect environment. The snake, owl, and bat all are Chimera Ants that thrive when it's nighttime. Gon, sitting on his own, questioning whether or not he should have followed Killua, senses the snake Chimera Ant and dodges its sneak attack. This Chimera Ant is then instantly overpowered and one-shot KO'd by Gon without Gon even using his Hatsu abilities. This feat is massively underrated. The rank of this snake is never stated, so the lowball interpretation of this scene is that this is a peon ant without Nen, but the medium to highball interpretation is that this is an officer ant with Nen, the same rank as Ramot that Gon is one-shot KOing without using his Hatsu ability, meaning this feat could be on par with the feat Killua performed when he one-shot Ramot without using his Hatsu ability. Also, Nen is such a significant power increase that you could make an argument that characters like the Bat might have been stronger than the no-Nen version of Ramot that Gon and Killua were struggling against fighting 2v1 at the start of the Chimera Ant arc, especially when you consider how many different abilities the Bat has, and the fact that she said she thought she could one-shot kill Gon even after seeing how much aura he had. I think it's an interesting debate, so let me know what you guys think about that in the comments. Do you think that the Bat that Gon fights in these chapters was overall stronger than Ramot was before Ramot learned Nen? Essentially, these battles that Gon has really showcases how much stronger he and Killua got during their 1 month of training with Bisky and Knuckle. Not only does Gon make significant improvements in his Hatsu abilities, but his overall base stats have increased as well. Let me know in the comments what rank you think this snake Chimera Ant was. If it was an officer, that means that this ant had Nen, and if it wasn't an officer, that means it did not have Nen. During the Nen Awakening ceremony, only the officer ants and squadron leaders were invited to attend the ceremony. These were the ants that were considered gifted, as the peons were not capable of seeing aura. So anytime you see the Chimera Ants fight, if they're able to see aura, or you see them using Nen or a Hatsu ability of some kind, this is a good indication that they're at least an officer ant. After effortlessly defeating the snake Chimera Ant, Gon then is jumped by the Owl and Bat. The Owl and Bat are both confirmed to be officer ants, as they both comment on the volume of Gon's aura at different times throughout this battle. The manga implies that Gon cannot see the Owl and Bat very well in the dark. As a result, he's relying on his hearing to tell where the enemies are. Then when they start hitting Gon with sound attacks, he starts using Gyo to tell where they are by looking at their aura. A comment I've seen a lot is the fact that Gon, from the start of the series, has been shown to be able to see in the dark very well. During the Hunter exams, he was able to see a faint shadow moving in almost pitch darkness. I think Togashi just wanted to create a fight to showcase how much stronger Gon has gotten since he fought Ramot, so he wanted to give Gon strong opponents, give them as many advantages as possible while giving Gon multiple disadvantages and still have Gon win anyway without taking damage. And I think that was his main intention of this fight, was to showcase that. In theory, I think he should just be able to see them and not have to rely on his hearing, but multiple lines of dialogue throughout this fight imply that Gon can't see them very well. Maybe you could say the reason Gon can't see them very well is because they're hiding in the trees. Maybe the trees are blocking his line of sight. Or maybe you could say that it's so dark outside that Gon's hearing is more powerful than his eyesight would be. These are possibilities, but I more lean towards the idea that this was just a scene put into the story to give Gon an additional challenge, even though in theory he should just be able to see these guys anyway. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. moments. Is there some other explanation as to why Gon could not see the owl and bat in this fight? In the anime, there's a moment where Gon states, if he stops using his hearing and just relies on his eyes, he won't be able to react. He follows this up by using Gyo, which would imply that using Gyo increases his reaction speed to some degree. It gets a bit odd. Meanwhile, the manga just straight up states, I can't plug my ears, I need to hear or I can't react. He's constantly relying on his hearing rather than just looking at where they are and using his eyes all throughout the battle. Also, it should be noted, it seems like he can at least see them slightly, but maybe not that well, because he was able to tell that it was an owl and a bat. But maybe he was just able to tell based on the sound of their wings in the air. That's also an option. That being said, this fight begins with Gon relying on his hearing to tell where the owl and bat are. He hears the bat flying off to his left, then the owl hits him on the right with an attack from his feathers, then right after being hit by the feathers, the bat follows up with an attack on his left. Gon states that the sound of the bat's wings are drowning out the owl's movements. So due to Gon relying on his hearing, that's why he wasn't able to tell where the owl's attack was coming from. The owl is distracting him with the long-range feather attack, then the bat attacks him with a close-range attack while Gon's distracted. So it's a short and long-range combo attack. Gon, after being hit by it for the second time, has already figured out the weakness in their combo. If you just focus on the sound of the bat flying, then you know immediately after being hit by the feathers, the bat will be right there, vulnerable for a counterattack. Gon goes for the counterattack, and the bat admits that his timing was perfect, but still dodges the attack anyway. It's then revealed that the bat Chimera Ant essentially has a weak version of precognition by using echolocation. Using echolocation, she's able to tell when Gon's about to launch an attack. This is saving her from Gon's punches last second. Gon then starts to charge up his paper attack. We also get more evidence that the echolocation is somewhat of a precognition ability for the bat, because she says even though his attack is powerful, her echolocation will keep her safe. The bat's strategy is to fly up high into the air, then kill Gon with a dive attack without using her wings. But due to Gon having very strong hearing, he's still able to tell where the bat is as she cuts through the sky. Gon tricks the bat into thinking that he doesn't know where she is, then at the last moment he narrowly dodges her attack and then yells in her ear to mess up her echolocation. Gon is still not using his eyesight at all. In the manga, they actually show Gon is closing his eyes as he fires his paper attack. This scene with Gon firing paper implies that Gon's paper has gotten slightly stronger than it was when he fought Knuckle. Gon actually believes that this paper ability is enough to either defeat this Chimera Ant or at least seriously damage this Chimera Ant with just one shot. This is very impressive because we see that the Chimera Ants are naturally very durable, and this is a Chimera Ant that's confirmed to have Nen as well, making its stats even higher. Yet Gon still thinks he's able to do meaningful damage with his paper attack here. During Greed Island, Bisky has Gon do a training level 5 technique for his emission abilities, and Bisky states after completing level 5 of this training, Gon would be able to knock someone back a dozen feet with a direct hit, and Killua says that wouldn't be a finishing blow even at level 5. The fact that Gon is implying he might have been able to one-shot the Officer Ant Bat with his paper ability, this implies he probably would be able to complete this emission training now. Also in the manga, Togashi makes it more clear that the paper attack Gon's using against the bat is implied to be stronger than the one he used against Knuckle. In the fight against the owl and bat, Gon's paper is depicted as more of a beam, but against Knuckle it's depicted as more of an orb flying through the air. The beam implies that not only is it faster and more powerful, but it does look more like the level 5 training that Bisky had described, which gives further evidence of Gon's increased power. The owl then transforms into its power form. The owl throws a punch and Gon dodges it with ease, but then he's hit with an ultrasound attack from the bat, and while covering his ears from the sound-based attack, the owl punches Gon. We also get a scene where it shows that the owl, bat, and Gon are all using Nen all at the same time. This makes the previous scene of Gon thinking he can do serious damage with paper even more impressive. The owl is only landing attacks while Gon is weakened by the sound-based attacks from the bat. You can make a very good argument that if Gon was fighting them in the daytime and could actually see them, there's a good chance he would have been able to beat them both without using his Hatsu abilities at all. This is backed up by the fact that as Gon is fighting the owl, he's putting a lot lot of his aura into defense. The moment after he one-shots the bat, Gon states now he can focus on attacking, and the owl immediately runs away. This implies that if Gon was putting more of his aura into offense, he might have just defeated the owl anyway without using rock. Gon's figured out that if the owl's in front of him, the bat is always directly behind him. He picks up a broken tree from the ground. This might be the tree that the snake initially broke, or it could just be a random broken tree on the ground. Gon swings the tree with so much force that the wind pressure alone sends the bat flying into a rock wall with enough force to break through rocks and make a crater in the rock wall. Then Gon jumps up and one-shots her with a punch. Then when it becomes a 1v1, the owl immediately tries to run away. Gon reveals that now he can charge rock while running, and in the anime, he dodges an attack while charging rock as well, and then one-shots the owl with it immediately afterwards. This is a massive power-up to rock because Knuckle told him his two big weaknesses are that rock takes a long time to charge up, and it leaves him vulnerable as he's charging the attack. He created the Jonken feint to make up for the long charge up time, but now Gon charging rock while running and dodging attacks as well, this makes up for the vulnerability weakness of rock. Rock essentially doesn't even have a weakness now. The odds of Gon being able to land rock on his opponents has increased considerably. Essentially, if you're not fast enough to speed blitz Gon, what are you going to do if he charges rock and just runs at you with it? What are you actually going to do? Really, your only solution is you'd have to speed blitz him. Now that he can run and dodge attacks while charging rock, the ability's kind of broken now, to be completely honest with you. And he still has Jonken feints as well. If you don't immediately speed blitz him to knock him out of the attack and you try to dodge it, he could just change into paper and then hit you with a long range attack. Or if you try to sidestep it, he can change it to scissors and then chop you with scissors. So really, his Jonken has become a lot more powerful. Just adding the ability to run and dodge while charging is a massive power up for him. After Gon wins these battles, it's revealed that he took no damage in the fight against the owl and bat, due to simply having a far greater aura output than the owl and bat. Also, we get a scene where it states that Killua had been on the move for 30 hours straight, disrupting the selection process, and we see immediately after that Gon knew he was being tracked by Melioron, so he was trying to outrun Melioron, meaning there's a chance that Gon was running for 30 hours as well, similar to how Killua was. That's everything I wanted to say. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate the views in the comments. Like and subscribe, and I'll see ya on the next one.